Hi Aquarius, welcome to your monthly readings. As always, keep in mind that this is only a general reading. Always take what feels right and with what does resonate within your own life experiences during this time. If you would like to have a personal reading with me, please contact me through the email I put in the description box below. I'll be offering a special love-focused reading, love and relationships, throughout the month of February, and this is a special offer that it's called Cupid's Message. So if you would like to know more details about that special or any other of my tarot services, just email me. Or if you would like to donate and support my channel, you can also do so by following the PayPal link, which is also down below. So Aquarius, I do feel like there's a sense of this month bringing you a chance to break free from a cycle of struggle. This cycle of struggle presents for the majority of you as being one associated with material challenges or physical challenges. So it could be issues concerning health, issues concerning finances, issues concerning the way you have been managing and dealing and the opportunities you have been founding or not in terms of your career or in terms of what you ultimately would like to do in this earth plane. So this is what you're leaving behind as being the Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Pentacles is a very welcoming energy to leave behind because it represents struggle. It represents some sort of lack. And a heavy conscious focus on that lack, because usually it can represent a lack of things we need to survive or things we need to feel empowered and safe and sustained to keep fighting and achieving and having and wanting and desiring more. Sometimes it also indicates a period of emotional lack, the absence of love, the absence of God, the absence of energy of support, the energy of feeling weak or weakened by circumstances that seem to have left you. So whatever you have in the past up until this time really struggle to leave behind in terms of lack, something you feel like it was vital for you to have and that you were not finding. I feel like there's a heavy chance of a change for the better, positive one, to happen, especially again in terms of your material world and the relationship you have with the material. And this might be something that comes up unexpectedly. This might be a chance, an opportunity, just a change of motion that happens, and it asks you to kind of adapt fast and quickly to the pace of, altered events. Because I feel like for some of you, this has to deal with altered events or plans. So again, it might be something that you're not expecting, that you didn't necessarily plan, or you had the perspective that could happen. But it's like divine timing for the luck here to be changed around. So for those that have been feeling the lack of fortune, this is the Wheel of Fortune and it's in the conscious position. So it's something you will be quite shown and it will be very visible to you throughout the month. Being that is the Wheel of Fortune, it's an energy that is of movement. It's an energy of luck, yes, but also an energy that teaches about the constant of change. Everything is always changing, and that's the guarantee we have. So it could be that, and looking at your cards, definitely for the majority of you, it could be the end of a period that has been more on the downer side and being given the chance to rise back. I also feel like this might have to deal with something you want to claim as yours. You want to feel empowered. You want to feel heard. You want to feel seen and acknowledged. So for some of you that have felt, because sometimes the Five of Pentacles talks about abandonment. So for those of you that have been, again, felt abandoned, neglected on a certain way, maybe you have not been, been treated fairly by, superiors at work or your family or your loved ones. Maybe you have not been treated the way you deserve and the way that you know, you would like, basically. And there's a sense of claiming here for your power and your truth. So it might be also a time where you break free from a cycle of abuse of some sorts, abuse that in a way also some of you Aquarius have allowed, because of the lack again of empowerment of the situation. It's like feeling like you didn't have power to change it, or to break free from, again, a cycle of abuse, or just an energy that was not the most, you know, productive and nourishing to you. So it could be that for some of you this is about saying enough. Again, also breaking free from relationships and associations where, again, dysfunction is a clear part of the way you and those have been relating. It could be that also this has to deal with secret, you know, secretive things going on, because I do feel like for others there's also the possibility of some things you have been involved with behind the scenes. Maybe you have been considering to do something, or you are in a secret relationship, or you have something secretive going on, or you're just, you know, building, forging here your own ways of doing things, and you're keeping that to yourself a lot. And for those Aquarius, it could be that this is a time where you're also being tested, you know, you're being tested and you know, challenged in a way in releasing, you know, your, let's say, the skeleton is like cleaning here the skeletons in your closet. So if there are secrets that need to come out, if there are things that you are holding that you must release to be free to enjoy here the journey of the will, because the will is much easier to go, this journey, this ride is much easier to go towards and accept and adapt to it if we are free and in the mood of not having anything really holding us back. So if there is something holding you back, unfinished business, or things that you just have not said, things you have been observing, noticing, seeing, things you have learned, things you have understood by your own self, but that you have not, again, come forward with it. For some of you, again, going back to the abuse energy, I feel like some of you, this could even be about reporting abuse, right? It could be that you're finally finding a way, or the courage, or the assistance to report someone. It doesn't have to be to that extent, but also it could be that you are telling someone something about something else, or you know, just confessing the truth of what has really been going on, I feel, in your life. I feel like for some of you Aquarius, you have been living a life, I don't want to say double life, but maybe you have not shown to those close to you how you have been really feeling, or if there's, again, an important issue, difficulty, or struggle with finances and work, maybe you have tried to keep that, you know, hidden, or really not really talk about it. I just feel like you have not been maybe openly, you know, communicating and confessing your struggles, and it's kind of a moment where you might be asked to do that, to be free from, you know, because those things hold power over us. They keep us from fully, you know, trusting what's coming up next. And if you are still held back by something, that sometimes with the High Priestess also talks about fear of exposure, again. And sometimes it's not even about, again, it doesn't have to be a literal thing as you knowing something and being afraid of the consequences of coming out with that truth. It could be that, but it could also be that you're afraid of giving of yourself, because that's very common with a High Priestess. She's usually quite afraid to step forward and really, you know, give of herself, on the contrary of the Empress. So it could be that some of you are also struggling with, you know, maybe being less shy, less timid, less defensive, less, circled around walls. Because I feel like the path of the will is one that is to put you again in this high scale of circumstance, which means that also there might be something here of a higher profile that is needed, and so demands, especially for some of you Aquarius, that this is also about your profession. Again, it could be that the role you're being asked to play, let's say, ahead, in order to fit your desires, to conquer, right, and thrive in the material life. You might need to, show some improvements in the way you give of yourself, you communicate, and you show your power, because you have the High Priestess and the Nine of Pentacles. So, and this is something you might be actually more as you go into March, but it's important to take notice that you're meant to grow and mature a lot during this period of time to become emotionally and financially more self-sufficient. It's also a time where the material, it's like you're governing here two worlds, right? The material and the spiritual are close to you, in between them, and you're listening to both. So some of you could also be given hints. You could have a strong, gut feeling in terms of what you should do, what you shouldn't do, in terms of timing as well, because the will is also about timing, the timing to say things, the timing to hold back, or even when to know if you should or shouldn't trust a situation, if you shouldn't or shouldn't do or try something, because your unconscious is the Two of Swords. So yes, the decisions to come out of something, even if it's a negative something, into something else, will not be, easy for you, because the Two of Swords, it's a duel. It's a duel, a debate in the mind, chronic indecision, meant to keep us from actually, again, claiming our power, because we have a lot of that illusion that if we don't choose, we're going to just, wait around. We don't want to choose. We keep in this indecisive energy, and we're going to wait around until something feels right. The consequence with that could be that extreme fear of making choices and choosing a path usually actually ends up translating in a lack of power, because the decision will be made by something or someone else. And this is not something you want someone else to decide, because this is about your life, the cycles of your life. This is about your luck, your fortune, your destiny. Let's call it that way. And this is also about you, the growth of you. The Nine of Pentacles is a very independent card, just as the High Priestess, right? So this is about what you want to grow and overcome and succeed at. Something that where you have not found that before, that now you're being given a chance to really maybe find it, right? But maybe you haven't found it in the past because of the will energy that can also keeps us, in this loop, this never-ending loop of the same things happening until we figure out what is really here, the patterns that we are following that are contributing to that. And so when we are able to free ourselves from patterns that are detrimental to our evolution, it's easier to find, of course, the abundance, the prosperity, the trust, and even for some of you, the openness to receive here a lot of interesting things. I feel like for some of you Aquarius that are into, again, the spiritual world as well, you can maybe have an interest in doing something business-wise, or where you could profit from. The High Priestess can be an extremely good, of course, psychic or tarot reader, astrologer, but also even if it's not in those lines of work, counseling, because she listens, and sometimes that's the only thing we need really to get to get closer to the understanding of what we need to understand, is to feel like we are properly listened. And again, as I said in the beginning, listened, seen, right? Understood. So either you are playing this role, someone might be also guiding you or giving you an important, just by the presence of this person, this can be a guide to you, or this can be a help to you. But for all of you, let's say for the general crowd, even for those that are not interested in anything like that, it's just a time where, it will be hard to miss on some, signs from the universe happening here. There is, let's say, a lot of unexpected random events that are, I feel like, signals to you, points of things you have not been seeing, because the Two of Swords usually has a blindfold. She's so afraid to see. She wants to protect her heart so much that she doesn't realize she's actually doing, first she's delaying the inevitable, which is the Three of Swords, but also this attitude of being afraid of life and choices and decisions is just, causing her the suffering to begin with. So in the month when dealing with those, type of things, of all that I described, just pay attention to the way you give into situations and to the way you resist them. But if you are waiting on something kind of amazing to happen, if you get that feeling, that vibe that something is about to happen that is going to change here a little bit of your luck, of your fortune, I do feel that gut feeling again is correct, is accurate, and guiding you to a much more prosperous cycle. So I hope you have a great month. Thank you so much for all of you that have been liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, and donating to my channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hopefully we'll see each other soon.